Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TC MMA Podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege. Privilege.
What up, what up? This your boy Chris Cross checking in bright and early. And we're in the middle of a thunderstorm here on the TC MMA Podcast as we do this thing live outside. So bear with us if you hear thunderstorms in the background. It's all good. Speaking of thunderstorms and lightning, last night was a wild night. So it set the stage. UFC Atlantic City in New Jersey. Erin Blanchfield at the top of the ticket. She trains out of New Jersey. Everybody wants to see her win. But unfortunately, it didn't go our way, man. We lose another main event. And I'm about to go off. Because now we're 4-7. And it's going to be weeks and weeks and weeks. We got to go on a run just to get back to 500. It's terrible. But we did have a winning night last night. And we're going to get into all that. But first, let's get into some clips. Because the UFC nearly broke a record last night for the most... I don't know if it was finishes. It's got to be KO/TKOs because it was 8 of them total, almost 9. 8's the record, or is the most. 9 would have been a record. If one fight didn't get overturned, the record would have been broken. And we'll get into all that, of course. But first, let's begin with Bill Algeo and Kyle Nelson. This fight had a great finish. Oh, and some big shots now by Kyle Nelson. And Bill Algeo's in trouble. And a driving knee. And Algeo's fighting back, but he's losing his balance here. He's got up against the fence. And Nelson's still landing. Big rights, big lefts. And man, Bill Algeo's saying, come on. Come on, bring it. Ooh, and he takes another right. And Nelson just connecting right now. Unreal. Another big right. Look at this. And a left. And a right. Oh, and they stop it. Wow, another early stoppage tonight. And this one is the biggest in question because Bill Algeo was taking it and he continued. And he's pacing around the octagon and he's not saying any words you want to hear. He is not happy about it because he was taking punches. No doubt about it. And maybe the ref was looking to protect him, but Bill Algeo looked like he was kind of reeling him in too. I mean, because he was... And here we go. Ooh, man, big right by Kyle Nelson. Yeah, and then Bill Algeo loses his balance. He takes a left, a right uppercut. Yeah, and Kyle Nelson just pounding away. And this ref wants to get in there. This ref has been in there all night tonight, it seems like. And he stopped a few others, good stoppages, but were stopped early. And that one was a little early. But nonetheless, Kyle Nelson's going to get the big victory here. And moved to 16-5. He needed that one. This fight went down featherweight division, UFC Atlantic City. Yeah, and this is kind of the main idea for today's podcast and just the whole event recap is there were some quick stoppages. Some of them were necessary. That one was questionable. I mean, Bill Algeo was getting, hammered. And it was questionable stop. But Bill Algeo could have still came back. That's what you left thinking. Then there were 2 situations last night where there was like an eye poke the fighter complained about in back-to-back fights. I mean, I got eye poked and then the ref doesn't stop it and then you get TKO'd. So that happened a few times last night, including in this one. Ruziboev versus Cedric Dumas, which ended up being a great fight, really. Too bad it didn't go longer. Ruziboev continues to come in. Cedric Dumas covers up, though. Hasn't phased him yet. With some big shots by Ruziboev. Oh, and a nice left by Dumas. Oh, and Dumas is complaining about an eye poke now. Looking at the ref like 3 times. He's got to be careful here. Now he takes a right. He goes down. Oh, he covers up. Oh, Ruziboev pounds away with hammer fist to finish. the fight, and oh man, that's a terrible way for a great fight to come to an end, because Dumas is going to get, oh, if we see his eye now, oh, the doctor is now looking at his eye. Yeah, look at that. So either a punch got to the eye or it was an eye poke, and it's going to really determine how people feel about this fight, because it happened very quickly. We won't know till we see the replay. Dumas complaining about an eye poke, and that led to the KO. Let's see. Yeah, he did. He slid the hand across the eye, but Dumas put his hands down and shook his face. Yeah, Dumas's eye is closed. And then he takes a left and then covers up, goes down, and that's it. So weird way to finish a fight, but nonetheless, Nurselton's going to get the win to move to 34-8. That's ridiculous. Cedric Dumas, wish he could have this fight back. He's going to fall to 9-2. Yeah, and there was an eye poke, man. And the ref out of position. And there's some different refs tonight. Refs I haven't seen before. And it's been an interesting night, to say the least. A lot of quick stoppages. A missed eye poke there. Unfortunate for Cedric Dumas, but it is what it is. Nursultan Ruziboev gets the win. Middleweight division. UFC Atlantic City. Yeah, and that was a rough finish, because that's the fight that I think everybody wanted to see continue. I mean, these guys were coming in and trading some big shots. And then all of a sudden you get the eye poke. You see Cedric Dumas pointing to the ref, pointing at his eye. And meanwhile, there's no stoppage. And Nursultan doesn't wait for him to go through this. He just comes in and starts landing some big shots. And Dumas goes down. Not from like one big punch, but he was getting a barrage, and he just kind of covered up. And the ref had no choice to stop it. That was an unfortunate situation, but not good enough video evidence to change the outcome or go to the score. It's too early in the fight to go to scorecards too. And that will be prevalent in the next fight, which everyone's talking about today. Chris Weidman versus Bruno Silva. I mean, this is a fight that I really thought going in Bruno Silva should win, unless Weidman is back to true form. But Weidman's 39, right? He can't possibly look as good as he did when he was like 34, 35 before the injury, could he? Maybe he could. Here's how this fight went down, a wild finish of being the fighter he once was before the injury, and a big left drops Bruno Silva, who covers up. And now Bruno's in trouble, and that's it. The ref stops it. And Bruno Silva saying he was eye poked, and here we go again. Here we go again. Crowd doesn't care. They love it, man. This is going to be a finish for Chris Weidman, but a second fight in a row where a guy said he was eye poked and the ref didn't stop it, and Bruno Silva's complaining now. And it definitely looks like something isn't right. And it's crazy that you're having these finishes, and it's hard to enjoy them because other guys saying it was an eye poke. And Bruno Silva's pounding the ground. Chris Weidman's walking around, pumping his fist at the crowd, and he's pumped up. And the crowd loving this, man. So it turns out in the replay there was an eye poke. But there was already 2 or 3 in this fight. And I think the ref was just kind of like, let's let this thing go. They look at, we get to the point here in that clip where it's like, okay, Weidman wins by TKO, but they're spending 2 or 3 minutes. I didn't want to have you sit through all that. Where they're reviewing it, there was an eye poke. They went to the scorecards. Weidman still won 30-27 on all 3, unanimous decision. And the reason why this was important is if they don't change it and it remains a TKO, the UFC breaks a record for the most TKOs in one event, which would have been 9. Instead, it was 8. So, very interesting, to say the least. Now, another great fight in the co-main event, a fight that I really couldn't wait to see more than any fight, to be honest, was Vicente Luque versus Joaquin Buckley, because this is a chance for Buckley to get ranked, and he went after it, and we predicted him to win, and this one came through for us in a great way. Pounded away on top, and Luque's just covering up right now, and how long can the ref let this go? They're not big, but he's not fighting back. Look at this. Look at this, Buck. Look at this, Buck. Come on, Buck. Come on, Buck. Stop. Yes. 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 Joaquin Buckley gets the KO, and he's officially a ranked fighter. And is he breaking down? Yeah, he is. Yeah, and he's shedding some tears. And you could just tell, listen, man, when you're talking about the welterweight and lightweight divisions, it's a feat. It's a big feat just to get ranked. It's definitely a big feat to get ranked in the welterweight, and that's what Joaquin Buckley did last night. And that's a huge. And Vicente Luque is just trending downward, and he's only 32, man. He's just falling off the cliff big time. And we'll have to take another fight against an unranked opponent, likely. Doesn't seem like he's close to retirement. He's got another 3 or 4 years, but he's got to make a change. I don't know if it's a weight class or whatever, and that's hard to do up at this age, but Vicente Luque is really, really struggling. Now, in terms of the picks last night, you see him there. All right, 8-5 overall, but we lose Erin Blanchfield in the main event. She just didn't fight well. It's 50-45 across the board. Blanchfield didn't win one round. But we started the night strong, 3-0. We lost Connor Matthews, but got Julio Arce and Vernon Jandaroba, so we're 5-1 in the beginning. And then we fall to 3-4 down the stretch. So 8-5, not bad. 80-55 overall, but the big storyline today is we're 4-7 in the main event and really struggling there. And we might need to struggle a little bit, to be honest. We might need to struggle a little bit because we've had so many years of great starts that it's kind of about time that we struggle. So 4-7 is not fun. It's not pretty, but that's the way that it goes. Now, as we move on in the show, we still got a fight prediction for you and the Q&A, so stay tuned for all that. But first, we're going to get into the prediction, right? It's kind of unnecessary because you already know which way I'm going on this, but we told you the other day Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev is going down. And we got the prediction done after the last podcast, so I want to give you that full fight prediction right now. In the middleweight division at UFC Saudi Arabia, you're seeing this right, Robert Whittaker takes on Khamzat Chimaev in the main event, and this is going to be an incredible fight, to say the least. Robert Whittaker, 26-7. Khamzat, 13-0. Khamzat's 2 inches taller at 6'2". He's 29 years old, Whittaker, 33. They're both still in their prime. In terms of reach, that goes to Khamzat, 75 to 74. So 1 inch reach advantage. Both guys stand right-handed. Khamzat's more active, 5.7 significant strikes per minute to 4.6. So you figure 25 to 35 significant strikes over the course of 5 potential rounds. Whittaker's not known for takedowns. 1 maybe every 3 rounds. Khamzat gets more than 1 on average every round. Robert Whittaker, good takedown defense, 82%. He's coming off the win over Paulo Costa by decision. Before that, he did lose a fight to Dricus by KO and beat Marvin Vettori. So he's still beating the guys below him. Just struggled a little bit lately at the top. Now Khamzat, 100% takedown defense. Hasn't lost. Beat Kamaru Usman by decision in the last fight. Beat Kevin Holland in 2 minutes by submission. Beat Gilbert Burns. Beat Li Jingliang. Beat Gerald Meerschaert. So this fight is set up to be an incredible card overall. But at the top, you get these two in the middleweight division. Probably with a potential title fight on the line. You got to imagine if Robert Whittaker can win, what that would do for him. If Khamzat wins, he skyrockets to the top of the division, can no longer be denied. And he's in line for a title fight for sure. But this fight will play out exactly how it looks on paper. Khamzat will defend takedowns successfully. He'll be very aggressive with the takedowns early in the first round. But he may test the striking, knowing that he's a better striker than Whittaker. But you got to be careful of the KO power by Whittaker. That's always a potential. But all in all, Hamza wins this fight. I think he's going to go in there and dominate in the first round. And unlike the Usman fight, he gets the finish in the first round, probably via ground and pound. I'd love to see him get a KO in the stand-up. But one way or the other, he's winning this fight in the first round, in my opinion. He needs a dominant performance to get a title shot, and he knows it. And forget the 5 rounds. He's going to be aggressive and look for him to get the finish to move to 14-0, in my opinion. Forget the rest of the numbers. They won't matter. Middleweight division, main event at UFC Saudi Arabia. I mean, was there any doubt? If you're a follower of this show, you know I'm going with Hamza. He's number 1 on the dude list for a reason, and we back him to win this thing. Now, as we get into today's Q&A, haven't had one in a while. First one says, cheap W for Ruzi Boev, pulling a Ric Flair and rake in the eye. Animal Reaction Clip says, Hamza Chimaev 170, bones, bones, and bones. So I don't know if that's meaning that Hamza will be all bone at 170 if he tried to get down to that weight, but it's just not going to happen. That's why he turned down a fight with Leon Edwards at UFC 300. At the Master says, I'm so hyped for Hamza. You said it's in the same week as your birthday. Awesome week for you. Yes. Are you going to live stream your reaction to the fight night? Yeah, of course, man. I already start preparing everybody right now. Like June 22nd. And it's going to be overseas, so it's probably going to be in the middle of the day. I'm out, man. I can't do anything. I'm going to be live. Yes. I'm not going to be live for all these other fights and miss Hamza. You dig? At Razor Blades says, this aged well, huh? Talking about Jailton Almeida dominating Curtis Blades. Yeah, it didn't age well at all. Curtis Blades finished him with the hammers on the takedown. It's crazy. Big win for Blades in that one. In terms of Chidi and Jokuwani, but you pick everyone that has fought Chimaev. I know. And normally I do, and I paid for it, right? If you look at, and I don't even know what it is, but if you look at Hamza Chimaev's opponent's records after he fights him, it's got to be 80-90% through the roof. And Rice McGee got dominated like 47-1 in that fight, had no chance. But he's not as bad as Hamza made him look. That's the crazy part, is these guys get better after fighting Hamza. At Homework is back, he says, finally. Yeah, I feel you, man. At Raiders Nation says, not even on the same level. And I'm not sure if he's talking about Hamza or Whitaker, but Whitaker's not on Hamza's level. I agree, hopefully. At Adrian, I believe, says he's just too big for welterweight. Yeah, he's not too far from a title shot in middleweight, though. I think he has got potential to be a double champ, middleweight, light heavyweight champ. Just imagine that, yeah. And I think that comment was before the fight announcement, but we're well on our way to a title fight. And another weighing in says Golden Boy, talking about Shabazian versus Dobson last week, which was a great fight. So that's kind of how the Q&A goes. You know, you're going to get a lot of Hamza reactions now for the next 3 months. We no longer have to get on here and say, what is going on? When's this guy going to get a fight? What the heck is happening? I mean, the fact of the matter is he has a fight now. And we're all excited about that. But listen, we're going to be back with more on Hamza. You better believe it. But for now, that's the full event recap for the week. We'll be back later in the week for predictions for UFC Vegas 90. Brendan Allen versus Curtis Blades, the rematch. And very excited about that one to see if Brendan Allen can get the job done. And we picked him to win next week. And of course, it's no guarantee. We could easily be 4-8 on the main event. So now we got to focus on the overall record, I guess, and keep pulling away. At least we're 80-55 there. It is what it is. But for now, this is your boy Chris Cross. Hope you have a great day and God bless. As always, peace.